1, 2. Awesome.
So, my favorite guest, well, my only guest, but if I had 1,000 guests, you would still be my favorite guest.
It's your secret location. That's what keeps everybody away.
Exactly.
I know it.
The Stash
I learned.
Cave.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, Tim has come down from up north down to here. He's had quite a day. Down to Marty's, back up. I mean, he's been everywhere.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The whole circuit, yeah.
So anyways.
Guitar circuit, guitar chorus.
Exactly.
Guitar Le Mans.
So we're going to do AC/DC meets country.
That's right.
I don't know. Cool riffs. We're going to get out-of-pocket riffs a little bit and check that out. We're going to put Tim's links down below in the description box. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a website. We're going to put a soloing link down there. All sorts of stuff. So check out down there.
Thank you, Papastache.
Thank you. My goodness. The honor's mine. Let's let him break down some riffs for you.
Break it down. The lead part on this starts, I started this out to be AC/DC, but it turned out to be a little bit country, so it's my confession. It starts out with a country kind of lick. And this takes a little bit of strength if you're not used to it. I've got my little finger on the 5th fret on the first 2 strings right here, and it's barred across those strings, just pressing them down. And then the 3rd finger pulls up on the 3rd string, 4th fret. And then I pick backwards on these 2 strings. And it takes a little bit of strength. I am definitely helping here. This is not just one finger that's pushing up. This 2nd finger is also pushing up the 3rd string. That's really important. It's also important to try and make it in tune, because you're really trying to get this note right here in tune, but you're pulling up from here. So try for it.
And that makes it the A chord.
Yes, it does. It makes it an A triad. Thank you. That was not quite in tune. Let's try it again. And then I walk down. Land on that A right there. And then I land on that G because the chord underneath is going to G. I'm always kind of trying to pay attention to where the chords are going. And it's easier if it's a simple progression like this, which is, A, G, D. So that's designed to land on the G chord. And then I walk down on a D scale. I think I pulled. And then when it goes to the A chord, I do the same thing on the A string. Or it could be a variation of that. You could go walking down a D scale, and then walking down an A scale. Or pull. For both of those, my hand is kind of anchored here with the 3rd finger on the 5th fret. Here on the 4th string, and then jumping over to the 5th string. And then the chord cycle happens again. The chord cycle just then was... Now we go to a new chord cycle, and I go up the neck, because I want to try and keep it interesting. There's some repetition involved here, because that's actually kind of good for rock. It's good to kind of repeat a phrase a few times once in a while. That's what I do here. Just doing variations on these 3 notes. So I'm still in A minor pentatonic. Well, I was in A major. Now I'm in A minor pentatonic. That's a good point. I'm kind of dancing between major and minor, and that's a fun thing to do with a rock song like this, because it sounds happy and hopeful, and then it sounds tough. You alternate between kind of those 2 emotions. So this new position second finger, 9th fret, 3rd string. That's where I'm anchored. And I do this double stop. You probably heard it before. This blues double stop. And what that is, we have our finger on the 3rd string, 9th fret, and then we have our index finger on the 2nd string, 8th fret. And then I come up and hit this A note on the 10th fret. And each time I do it, I might vary the actual phrase. I might go... One of the things about soloing that my guitar teacher taught me, I had a great teacher named Steve Mays in Albuquerque when I grew up, is if you can take 3 notes and find as many ways to play them as possible. I'll try and demonstrate that for you right here and now. So I'm just taking 3 notes and I'm trying every phrase I can think of just using 3 notes. So I'm just hanging out there for the whole cycle pretty much. And the benefit to that is that when you play something simple and repeating over chords that change underneath, it creates something magical. I'll try and demonstrate it. Over the A, and then G. Hear that beautiful tonality? And then over the D. It still kind of blows me away how beautiful it sounds to do something simple that repeats over chord changes. So that's the philosophy there. So then the chords cycle around a 3rd time, and I kind of stay in this zone, and I just add 1 note. I do this. So what this is, same thing. 2nd finger, 9th fret, 3rd string. 3rd finger, 10th fret, 2nd string. And then I play with my index finger, 1st string, 8th fret. And then I come up here on the 1st string on the 10th fret and go. And then I pull up to the 12th fret. So what this is I'm taking, that's a melody I just inserted in here. And in between each of those notes, I'm just going. Let me demonstrate it without a little mistake. Now I have to change my hand position because I know I'm going to end up here. So I start here, then I switch out fingers. And that's just kind of looking ahead. It's like you're driving on the highway and you look down the road and you see somebody you want to pass, and so you get yourself in position. That analogy even makes sense. So let me do this in time. 2, 3. And I end it with a big pull. I'm doing the thing I like to do where I thump across all the strings and mute with the left hand to add aggression and gravitas to the high note.
And then, so again, that position right there where your hand is in number 2 is right where that other version of the A chord is, that D shape.
Yeah, it's...
And the other D chord, they're all right there too.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm kind of cheating. That the song is in A major a bit, and I'm kind of in A minor right now.
Because it's awesome.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. This is an A minor shape right here.
Yeah.
I could be A major.
Yeah. But the D chord's right there too, which is why it works so good.
This one right here. Yeah. And then the G right here. That's a really good point. If you start to look at the chord shapes up here, it begins to free you to do different things. There's a G right here, a D right here, an A right here, Drop down, there's a G right here, a D right here, an A right here. Drop down, a G, a D, and an A. We'll save that for another lesson, I suppose.
Do that one thing one time. I remember one time I went to your house. She says, once you can see where an A chord is all over the fretboard, and you just started hitting all the different spots where an A chord was. Do you
Yeah. Okay, so there's an A here.
No, but like, yeah, you just did like the 2 notes.
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and it was cool because you did it on every set of string. I was like, oh my god. But it starts to make sense. Exactly.
And then here.
But that starts to make sense because that is knowledge you can access while you're soloing. Which is
Absolutely.
amazing.
I see chord shapes while I'm soloing, and so what that does is you can play the blues, and then you can break out of the blues and play a chord shape. It kind of breaks it up. So
Yeah.
it takes you out of blues into more melodic kind of playing. That's just a melody based on an A chord. But here I am kind of sticking with the blues and kind of the drone and just feeling the satisfaction of the chords changing under a repeating kind of zone that I'm in. And then here's my thing. I want to keep advancing up the neck to try and create interest and maybe excitement, hopefully. So I go up even further, and the next position I'm in is a double stop, keeping the repetitive thing going. Don't always want to be, use repetition, but once in a while it's a really good thing. So what this is, I'm high on the neck, and I'm using my second finger and my index finger. The second finger is way up here. Let me count this. It's 15, 17. But just look at the dots. Forget those high numbers. Dot number 2, dot number 1, right up here. See those? There they are. It's the same thing as this down here, just an octave higher. These two notes, just an octave higher. And this right here is part of the D chord. So this is kind of an A minor blues thing, and then this is a D shape, back to A minor blues. It's kind of a harmonized walk down. And I do this 3 times. And then I kind of end it randomly with kind of just a pentatonic kind of walk down here. You can do your own thing. And then kind of to finish it out, I go as high as I can on the neck. And this is that double string bend pull that I like to do. Very Hendrixy, and I like the dissonance of having this thing crawl up here. So take the index finger on the high E string all the way up here on the, it is the 17th fret, and then go up 3 more frets, but on the 2nd string with your 3rd finger. Start there, and then pull this up to pitch. Back down, land on the G note, and then land on the D shape right there. It's a double stop. And then I had a request from Brett to finish it out down here.
I was asking if you could do kind of like one of those pocketed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, love those.
And it brings up a really good point because, I mean, it's literally the intention behind this. It's something I never realized that I do. It's if I take my right hand and just kind of demonstrate what I'm doing, I'm going. So there are big accents happening. It's like,
yeah.
and I never realized that.
Sweet.
And I suppose that's what gives it kind of the authority, rather than playing it evenly. I made that weak on purpose, but it sounds stronger when you.
Yeah. And those oftentimes when you're playing it with drums are hitting on the bop,
Yeah.
bop. So
Yeah, that's the thing that I know that you crave,
Yeah.
and we all crave, is that if you're kind of approaching it like a percussionist or
Yeah.
drummer. So I think the takeaway from this is that when you're playing your riff, you kind of want to break out of student mode, and you sound more like a performer when you strike some of the accents really hard. And let me slow this down and demonstrate that. There's 3 really strong accents going on right here. So there's an accent. I play 2 notes, hit another accent really hard. What is that? 4 notes?
Mhm.
And then 3 more notes. Not that I'm counting while I'm playing, but it's da 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 da. It's like a drum fill. So I'm kind of playing like a drummer a little bit. And check out how much more kind of strong that sounds than. And in my case, they're all big downstrokes, and that sounds really rock to me. I'm hitting the guitar really hard. You want to be able to use your right hand really soft and really hard. You don't want to get stuck on any particular velocity with your right hand. You want to be able to use different velocities at different times. I mean, if you're a player who always plays soft, it's going to sound like that. If you're a player who plays too hard all the time, you're going to sound like that. So you want to be able to use a big dynamic range of attack and strength and softness in your right hand. And I'm kind of demonstrating that here. There's loud accents and soft ones.
One thing I want to point out though is you hitting a note hard, your grip is still pretty, like you are really relaxed when you play.
Yeah, I mean it is a weird thing because I think all of the strength is coming from the wrist.
Yeah.
I'm still barely holding the pick. Which is a weird thing to think about.
Well, yeah,
It's still basically barely squeezing the pick.
Yeah.
It's
But when you first pointed that out to me, when you gave me a guitar lesson, I was like, wow. But then when I incorporated that I mean, it makes such a big difference.
yeah.
It really, because I mean, it just allows you to be loose and more fluid than trying to really like manhandle it. You're just.
Well, that's one of the paradoxes
Physics.
of guitar. I got to go to a Van Halen rehearsal once many years ago, and you're seeing the most aggressive guitar player on the planet, arguably, but his pick was feather light at all times, and it's a paradox to think that this guy was putting all that aggression through his instrument and playing with a feather light pick style. It's. But as you pointed it out, it is the actual. It's all coming from the wrist. It's all.
Yeah. Which I think
Good
too,
teacher.
when you keep the grip loose too, it doesn't pull the strings too hard to pull the stuff out of tune too.
Well, yeah, and I play with that too because when I play rhythm guitar, I use a really soft Dunlop pick because that way my attacks still they get muted, they get mitigated by the softness of the pick.
Right.
In this particular case, because I'm playing lead, I am using a hard pick.
Yeah.
So, but if I was strumming rhythm, I'd pick up a Dunlop soft, nylon pick, and then I wouldn't be able to really choke the guitar and play too hard. That's kind of it forces me, the soft pick forces me to lighten up a little bit.
Yes! Way to go. Gosh darn it.
Did you get that?
Yeah, exactly. I want to be you when I grow up. We're not that far apart either, so I better
you're
get
being kind.
I better get my act together. My acts together, right?
You help me get out of this chair, right?
Exactly. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, once again, make sure you check the link below for Tim's YouTube channel because it's freaking awesome. Like, we sit here and jam or whatever and do that kind of stuff, but it's nothing compared to what you're going to see when you see him in his zone doing his thing. It's muy perfection, no so. Whatever language that was. Thank you for joining. You guys are amazing. The channel's exploding. His channel's exploding. We are both super stoked.
Yes, we are.
We love to do this for you guys, and we appreciate so much the support and always checking in with us. And Tim, thank you for gracing us once again.
Let's do it again.
Sweet.
Soon.
All right. Catch you next time.